Okay, we're here today with Roger Perrault. Roger was telling me was a member of the reserve, primary reserve.
Yeah, infantry.
Infantry out of Montreal, you said?
Montreal, Royal Montreal Regiment.
Royal Montreal Regiment.
Mhm.
Okay, and before we get into more about that, where were you born and raised, Roger? Tell us a bit about teenage years.
Dad was a Paxsack miner, so I was born here in Sudbury in 1951 at the brand new General Hospital, which no longer exists. And we moved to Elliott Lake when I was about 5 or 6 years old to work. Now, Dad worked in the uranium mines.
Sure.
And in '58, we moved back to the farm. We had a farm, and our uncle kept an eye on it.
Where?
In Perth, Ontario.
Oh, Perth, okay.
Yeah, just outside of Perth at Christie Lake.
Okay.
And my uncle took care of that place for a while, and then we got back, and I seen all my old buddies at the public school that we used to go to, a one-room public school with an old box stove in the middle of the room to keep the place warm in the wintertime.
And that was around the early 60s?
It was in the late 50s.
Late 50s,
Yeah, in 1956 I was 5 years old, and they sent me off to school.
Okay. And then from there, teenage years, went to high school, I assume?
Yeah, we moved to Montreal in '63 and did my high school in Montreal, and we lived in Montreal West. And happened to meet a fellow that was in my class at school, and he was talking about maneuvers in the Army, and I says, oh, where? And he said, Royal Montreal Regiment, just drop in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I did, and joined up and had a great time.
Sure. So primary reserve for the audience. Primary reserve, they generally meet either Tuesdays or Thursdays, and then through the summer they would get a lot of the primary reserves would get a full-time contract with summer employment. So generally full of students, a lot of students that are in the primary reserve.
Yeah, I was a student then. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you get some full-time contracts through the summer months, or?
The summer months, the last year I was with them, let's say the 1969, we went for maneuvers in Valcartier for about 2 weeks, and then we all shipped back home.
Okay.
But the last year I was with them in 1970, I think was in the end of April or May, we went for our maneuvers with my regiment, and we joined in with the Royal 22nd Vandus.
Yep.
And me being bilingual, they had asked, and then I heard you never volunteer, but I did. I said, yes, I am. I'm bilingual. I wound up as a radio man with the Vandus.
Yeah. And so radio man, what duties would that entail? What type of work?
You'd have to translate what the Royal Montreal Regiment was telling them, any maneuvers that we were doing,
because that was mostly plans. In English.
In English, and I translate French to their officers or whoever I was attached to.
Because the Vandus have not a lot of English-speaking people.
No, they didn't. And my French is 50%, but I managed.
Yeah.
And we'd get a lot of in the bush. We were in the bush, and they'd have tents set up with the food. They'd ask me, well, how do you want your steak? I says, what? And we ate out of cans with our militia unit.
Yeah.
The old sea rations.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting.
So the types of rations that the Army would get, Roger mentioned sea rations. Now they have something called meals ready to eat, or the soldiers quite often call it boil in a bag.
Yeah.
So there's different kinds and some of them are tasty, better than a cracker and a slice of bread.
Yeah, they had that in the cans.
Yeah. So the boil in a bag, you put it in. So the meal ready to eat is for troops in the field, or if they didn't have. Do you remember hay boxes? Sometimes the cook would show up with large boxes full of stew and soup and that
all
sort of
thermos and hot, nice and hot. That was like a meal from home sometimes to us with our mess kits. We had our mess kits.
If you're in the field, you really look forward to a hot meal.
Oh, it was
right?
delicious. Yeah.
So when you got mess, like you're describing with a steak on a grill, that was that was kicking it.
It was like an outdoor barbecue.
Royal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Nice. So you mentioned, just going back a little bit, I just want to follow up on a couple of things. So you had a couple of classmates that were talking about the primary reserves, and I guess they had experience with the reserves. What do you remember about the time of enlistment? And so I guess you went in on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then Walk us through what that was like, and what was the enlistment process like?
My memory may be
Sure.
kind of, but all I remember is going in, and I forget who I was. I was talking to the commissionaire at first to
Okay.
ask him who was where and
Yeah.
what should I ask and who
Yeah.
should I see about enlisting, and I got the enlistment process. The medical was interesting. They had a doctor. They had just brought down his meal while I was standing there talking to him. He was going to check me out and make sure I was fit and
Yeah.
healthy. And he let the meal sit there cold, and it bothered me. He said he's missing his meal while he's checking me out. And he gave me a specimen bottle, and I said, "Fill her up here." Well, here's yes, sir. Okay. Usually you bring it, go down to the bathroom,
Sure.
and finish your business,
Yeah.
and after you fill the bottle. But that was the highlight that I keep thinking of. I haven't forgotten that.
Yeah.
But I made it through in the basic training and everything else.
Yeah. So what do you remember about basic training? Was it a
rough.
weekend and?
Yeah, weekends. Yeah,
okay.
we'd go to Camp Farnham, which is probably east of Montreal, northeast of Montreal.
So near current Saint-Jean, Quebec, where all of the
Saint Jean was for the regular force. I hadn't never seen. My nephews went there. They
Sure.
trained there.
and all basic training now is at Saint-Jean,
Oh,
and they go to Farnham.
you know where Farnham is?
Yeah,
Oh,
so they
that's
go there
great.
for 2 weeks.
Ah.
The recruits, right? So they go there to fire the rifles, and they do some field exercises, Army style,
Right.
Army, Navy, Air Force, and so Farnham is not far from Saint-Jean, and they still
that's right.
that's still quite active. That,
Oh, it's that's great to
yeah,
hear.
yeah, they still
Yeah.
use it for all the
I
recruits.
remember our bunk where we'd sleep there. There was maybe 50, 60 of us in a what did they call that?
Barracks?
Barracks.
Yeah.
Barracks. Yeah.
Yeah, quite often the ones that were older, they were either a Quonset style,
Yeah.
or they were an H hut, so it looked like an H. Do you remember? Or was
These
it just
seemed
a
to be
long
straight.
row?
This one was a long building.
Long
and,
row, yeah.
and I don't know if it was a peaked roof or a
And
flat
bunk
roof.
beds.
Bunk beds. Yeah.
And
yeah.
everybody got a
And
locker,
you-
and
every,
a foot locker.
foot locker. Yeah. And the first night we'd get there on a Friday night. Everybody had just gone to school. You all meet at the armory and grab a bus
Yeah,
to go to Farnham. I forget if it was an hour and a half ride.
sure. Yeah,
And it's just to get to sleep. Everybody's fooling around. And the lights are supposed to be out at 10 or something, but there's always something going on.
yeah, yeah. You're supposed to be shining boots and getting ready for
Supposed to
inspection.
getting ready for inspections, yeah. Spit and polish. A
Yeah.
lot of people won't believe that.
A lot of
the
that.
spit makes the toe of the boot shine.
Yeah, so tell me a bit about spit and polish. There's not too many soldiers that forget that. So what does that involve?
Well, keep your boots shiny, or you might be doing some mopping or
Some kind of discipline, right?
Some kind of discipline
Yeah.
around the parade square.
Yeah. So the high shine on a service person's boots is all manual. So they don't buy them that way.
No,
There's a
no.
lot of work that goes into and dedicated to shining boots. So spit and polish is a term that military folks use just to, because you have fond or otherwise memories of sitting for hours and hours, brush shining, and then eventually, using the kiwi cloth to get that high shine.
And the spit.
Yeah. And
People won't believe it. The spit does make it shine.
Yeah, I always use cold water. The water had
Oh,
to
you
be,
could, yeah.
The water had to be very cold, and just a little bit of polish with some very small circles. I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, there's not too many service people that don't.
And then you get your boots all dirty after.
Yeah, guaranteed. So you had to do it all over in the next day
You know,
again.
and your bed had to be made just perfect.
Yeah, hospital corners. Yeah, pretty much
And-
flip a coin off it.
When it was time for a bed change, you had to fold those sheets the way they showed you. They'd throw them back at you.
Yeah.
You'd back there and refold that sheet.
That's when you were exchanging your bed sheets.
Bed sheets, yeah.
So anything else you remember about basic training? What types of things did you learn?
The obstacle course.
Obstacle,
I
yeah.
pulled a muscle under my arm here, and it still shows
Really, eh?
where it abscessed. Climbing up, I slipped, and it was a 10-foot wall, I guess, and hung on with one arm, and then I scrambled up.
Yeah.
But you couldn't be afraid of heights there, and some on the rope ladder you had to climb.
Yeah.
Some of them were all made out of rope. They may have been 10, 15 feet wide.
Like a big mesh.
Big mesh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd climb up and over.
What else do you remember about basic training? You did more than the obstacle course.
The shooting,
Sure.
yeah, the rifle range.
Do you remember the rifle?
C1.
FNC1.
I never got to carry the FNC2. I guess I wasn't. It was a little heavier. So
Well, you were probably lucky not to have to.
the barrel was thicker on it.
Yeah, a lot. So the light machine gun was the FN2, and it was considerably heavier, and so were the rounds. So you had a lot more rounds to carry,
Yeah,
and
more
so it was a
rounds.
lot more work to, yeah,
Yeah, and the SMG, that was nice to try out.
sure, yeah.
But we
The
never
submachine gun.
The submachine gun, yeah.
Fully automatic though, right?
Fully automatic, and I believe it was 9mm.
9mm, yeah.
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 And our FNs were all 7.62.
Yeah, 7.62 or 308 for those that are familiar
Yeah,
with a common
308.
rifle round, deer hunting and moose
Well,
hunting. and
it
that
was
sort of thing.
exactly the same, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Nice. Anything else you remember? What about friends and comradeship
Oh my
and that
God,
sort
yes,
of thing?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd make some good buddies there.
Yeah.
All watch out for each other
Yeah.
and help each other out on the obstacle course. I'm not sure if I seen it on TV or if we used to use a rifle to step on to hop over a wall.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we did that. I
Yeah.
think you were left to climb that wall any way you could.
You had to figure it out.
Figure it out, yeah.
And are you still in touch with some of those?
No, I've lost contact.
Yeah.
They lived in Montreal, so
Sure. Yeah, it's hard these days. But
when I went back to hand in all my kit, I met a few of our buddies, and we'd have a few beers in the canteen,
Yeah.
and reminisce.
yeah. How long were you with the reserves for?
Probably 3 years. I started at 17.
Sure.
My dad had to sign. I imagine he had to sign a permission slip.
Underage. Yeah.
Underage.
Yeah.
And I left when I was 21.
Did you get promoted when you were there?
I made Lance Corporal.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So Lance Corporal, even I'm not familiar with that. So tell me about, is that 2 hooks?
One hook.
One hook. Okay. So in today's terms, it'd be a trained private.
Trained private. Yeah.
Private trained.
Yeah.
So Lance Corporal is what they call it then?
It still could be now.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
I've heard the term.
It could be. Each regiment kind of has its own
Navy
little-
was different than the
Oh yeah, completely
the Army,
different. Yeah. But the each regiment in the Army has its own little things that they do.
Yeah, we had
It
a,
might still be.
a chevron.
Yep,
yeah.
one chevron. Yeah, you can always tell the difference between American and
Yeah, they're
Canadian.
where ours are pointed down and theirs are up,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, easy to
and they're
remember
smaller.
because we use the maple leaf for the master, and the maple leaf
Oh,
sits in the.
That's right. Yeah.
It sits in the dish,
Yeah.
so it's easy to remember the American and the Canadian rank structure. Okay, so what was a typical day when you? So let's say you went out on a Tuesday or a Thursday. What sorts of things were you doing? How long would you be there?
Well, we'd probably get there around 7 and leave at 10.
And what
Finish
would
at 10.
what were the sorts
Book
of
a
things?
lot of courses we'd read over and drill.
Yeah.
A lot of marching.
Yeah.
We won a competition in a silent march.
Oh.
We made a silent march, a routine, and we won a trophy.
Who else was in the competition? Do you remember?
Just our companies that made up the Royal Montreal Regiment.
Okay,
A, B,
so you
C,
were
D.
with your squad sort of thing,
Yeah,
and there
all
was
our
different squads
squads,
that
yeah.
competed
Yeah.
against each other. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Charlie Company.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
What other kinds of things do you remember doing?
remember,
What about the
we-
weekends? And
The weekends we'd maneuver. Sometimes we'd go on maneuvers at Farnham. A lot of marching and walking
Yeah.
in the bush and
Yeah.
along country roads. And you heard the term "hurry up and wait."
hurry up and wait.
You'd double time
Yeah.
it to a spot and wait for a truck for maybe 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
for them to bring you back
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's still like that. That
It
doesn't
still
change.
hasn't changed. Eh?
Yeah. So you mentioned you were in Canada here. Was there any of the Montreal that was deployed periodically, or was that a possibility for you? Do you remember?
Well, my regiment had been in the First and Second World War.
Yeah.
They had their field, whatever, their honors on our canteen bar,
Yeah.
battle honors, and but as far as I know, I don't know at the time that when I was there if anybody went
If anybody had
overseas.
deployed, yeah, it's pretty common now. The Irish regiment here in Sudbury, for example, there's anywhere from sort of 3 to maybe as many as 7 or 8 deployed with Reg Force
Okay.
on 6-month
Yeah.
deployment. So there's some in Latvia right now. That's
Yeah, we're training some people there.
where we have most of our deployed troops,
Hmm.
Army troops, anyways.
Yeah.
So, what about accomplishments? And was there any time at points through your time in the P-Res where you felt like you really accomplished something or you were proud of? And do you remember any of
Well,
those?
I earned that one stripe I got.
Yeah.
I don't really remember everything that I did to. I'm sure we had a course where we had to study, and sometimes we'd teach a course.
Yeah.
They'd tell you, okay, it's your turn.
Yeah.
I remember teaching the grenade course.
Oh, okay. Tell us about
and
that.
how to dismantle a grenade safely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was familiar with, and maybe this rings true, it might bring back a memory, but we had to do an on-job training package. So all these little things, for me it was turn a wrench. I was a marine engineer. So turn a wrench, start an engine, stop an engine, turn a valve, fix whatever. So I imagine in the Army it must have been much the same, where you learn how to use a map and compass, and then you had to learn how to fire the rifle, and you had to learn how to march.
Disassemble the rifle.
Sure. And so some of that was a form of leadership where you explained you had to get up in front of everybody and talk about
the grenade course was when I had to get up and and I had the manual to study. We had learned it before, so then to teach it. And if an officer walked into the room, you had to make sure everybody was, I forget what the term was, everybody had to stand up at attention and then sit down.
You bring the room.
Bring.
You should say
room. Bring the room? Room, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
And did you have an opportunity? Was there a grenade range at Farnham?
I never got not that I know of.
So you
I never got a chance.
I
didn't get a chance to throw any.
Right on.
Although in Valcartier, I was on ambulance duty because I was in there. I had been attached to their service corps.
Yeah.
So I was driving trucks and 3/4 tons.
So the service corps was responsible for logistics.
Yes.
Sorts of things.
Even
moving people and
getting food
materials.
in from. I was at Camp Dubé, which was about 10 miles from Valcartier.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it still exists. I don't know
Not
if you've
sure.
heard of Camp Dubé.
No.
And we'd have to go get meats and vegetables with 3-ton trucks, normal steak trucks they call.
Deuce and a half. Do you remember that term?
I like the Deuce and a Half. Yeah, it was a very nice vehicle to drive.
Yeah.
First course I took. I wanted to see if I knew how to drive it. Although I had my license, military license, for driving 3/4 ton Deuce and a Halves. And he said, "Okay, cross that river you're in a 6-wheel truck.
Yeah.
Put it in bull low, and away we go." Well, the river wasn't over the door. It was probably halfway up the tires.
Okay.
The small river. But they wanted to see how you did and your signals. If the signal didn't work, you had to use your arm outside the window. And
a lot of times they didn't have signals because it
didn't have
was light
signals.
emitting, right? So they didn't want
That's
the enemy
true,
to know where you were. Yeah, for sure. We talked about the Deuce and a Half a little in an earlier interview. I just explained to the crowd that it's like a dump truck, but without the dump. It has the back on it has a cover, and it's good for troops and logistics, supplies, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And very good traction. You can go up a mountain with it.
Yeah, it had a lot of horsepower.
Yeah, 6-wheel drive.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think your military service taught you and about yourself? And
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. To respect people, higher ranking, of course. And in the job, I guess, if you were thinking about how to do something and do it safely. Of course, I learned that while I was with INCO. Is if you see a job, you size it up and see what's the safest way to do this, and it would apply to what we learned in the Army too.
And so, do you think those skills you learned in the time you were in helped you with your job at INCO?
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about that. So you released from the primary reserve. You were here in Sudbury at the time when you released?
I moved up to Sudbury.
About what time?
That was in September of 1970. I just came back home from Valcartier.
Okay.
I'd served there for the summer. And I was ready to join the regular force. But my sister happened to come up, who lived here in Chelmsford with her husband and kids. And she said, well, come back to Chelmsford for a 2-week vacation or whatever, a week or two, and maybe find a job with Falconbridge, because my brother-in-law worked for Falconbridge. We tried Falconbridge, and they said, come back in 2 weeks. And that afternoon, we went to the INCO building, where it exists now on Frood Road.
I'm not familiar, but...
No. Well, it was lined up from the stairway, to around where there was a little gas station then.
Okay.
I just got in the line and shuffled on through, and an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we got to the hiring desk, and what they wanted and what we lived by in the reserves is our SIN number. This was our ID.
That's right.
And the fellas in front of me only had a driver's license to show, so they said, nope, next, out. And he said, what have you been doing? I says, well, I just got out of the Army and
Don't say it, but you rhymed it off to every service member knows their social insurance number by heart.
By heart, yes.
Because everything we did in the military, now we have they switched from a SIN card to a service number, which has to do with privacy and that sort of thing. In this day and age, if somebody knows your SIN number, they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell it on camera.
So that's why I said just before you started to spout it off, because usually we all spout it off because you know it by heart.
Yeah.
And so everything you went, if you got a pair of socks, you had to put your SIN number down. If you got a rifle, you put your SIN number down. That's how they.
That was your name.
If they needed to find you, they knew how to find you.
That's right.
So you got to the front of the line, and the
Front of the line, they said, "Okay, have a seat."
Do you know your SIN number? And what happened after that?
Then I went through the hiring process, medical tests, and 39 years and 3 months later, I retired.
39 years with Inco.
Yeah.
And eventually Valet, I guess.
Yeah.
And what were you first hired on with Inco? What were you doing?
I was on a shovel, shoveling ditches into a Hudson.
Oh, you were in the Army. You must know how to shovel a ditch.
We knew how to shovel. I was telling Leo was here, okay, dig a hole. We dig a nice hole, and then, okay, fill it up. We're moving.
That was when you were in the Army.
When I was in the Army.
Yeah, if you didn't have anything to do, they made you dig a hole.
Yeah, just keep you busy.
Yeah.
Keep
you were always busy doing something. Yeah. Okay, so you got was it general labor job then?
General labor, and then as you had a little more seniority, you'd be able to bid on a job.
Sure.
And I started off at the hard rock drilling and the hard rock miner.
Okay, underground.
But you just get a good thing going, and then somebody would bump you because they bid on your job. You were on a temporary posting or whatever. And then you'd have to move, and then I got into the diamond drill raise boring department. Okay. Which was really interesting.
Yeah. And eventually you were full-time?
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't know what the time was, 6 months, I think. I was in full-time.
Sure.
Full-time job.
I just wondered because you said you got bumped and whatnot, so you know what the bumping.
Yeah, there was temporary postings.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and temporary postings. So then you're into diamond drilling.
Diamond drilling, yeah, and mostly on raise boring. Raise bores, you'd, like I was saying, you drill a hole maybe 600 feet, break out in a level, and then they'd attach a reamer on it, and then you'd ream the hole up. It would be pulling the hole up as it was turning.
Sure.
And you make ore pass, vent raises or whatever.
For ventilation?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So back to, I'm sure you've talked to a lot of folks about your career, you know, your lived experience in the primary reserve. What advice would you give some young folks today that might be thinking about joining the Canadian Armed Forces?
I'd say go for it. If you're built for it, you'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to take discipline and no talking back. I don't know what this newer generation is like, but we had learned respect in my generation.
Yeah.
Baby boomers.
Well, I tell you, they still learn it pretty. My son just finished basic training about around Christmas time.
All right.
And he came out of there a changed man. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
I think it's good for them.
Yeah. So he's very much driven the way we were trained. You know, once you're instilled with that.
They haven't softened up, have they?
No. If anything, I thought they got harder. It's hard to believe, but some of the things he was telling me, he was like, oh. Anyways, so they're still not very soft on them. Transition, we talked a little bit about. What are some other things tell us about your family life and hobbies and that sort of thing? You're retired now.
I am.
What sorts of things keep you busy as far as?
Go on Facebook and YouTube. Cut the grass when it needs it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Shovel snow when you have to, which we've had to do.
Yeah.
I used to be a beer brewer. I used to brew beer when I was younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Any outdoors other than cutting the grass? Were you a fisherman or a hunter?
We'd go hunting for partridge in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still kept my my rifles all locked up and have the registered certificate to prove it. I haven't been out lately, but I'd like to go out and do some plinking and an open pit, an old pit, gravel pit, and see how the 22 still works and the old 12 gauge.
And if the eyes still work.
Yeah, that's a thing that even the glasses, even with new glasses, it wouldn't help.
Yeah. And
But,
what about family life? How did that all play out through the
well,
years?
and yeah, I married in '73 and have 2 daughters.
What was your wife's name?
Suzanne,
Suzanne.
still here. Yeah.
She's still with us?
Yes.
Okay. And you had 2 daughters, grown children now, I guess, like adults?
Yeah, Lynn will be 53 in September,
Okay.
and she's a doctor of psychology
Oh.
based in Windsor.
Okay.
And my youngest daughter, she'll be 50 in May, and she's a PSW at York Extended Care.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
hard job. You
I
talk
betcha.
about basic training.
Yeah.
Do their job for
Hard on the back,
a day. Oh,
hard on the knees. Yeah.
and the things they have to do.
How about your wife? Was she employed through the years?
Yeah, she was with the taxation center.
Okay. Working in town at
Yeah.
Notre Dame and
Notre Dame.
Sal
Yeah.
there? Yeah. Nice. And
And I have a granddaughter that's working there
Oh,
now.
you have a granddaughter
My
too?
granddaughter.
Yeah.
I have 3 grandchildren. I have
Okay.
2 grandsons and a granddaughter.
okay. And how old are they?
Well, my youngest daughter's oldest son is 30, and he's got a sister, Audrey. She's 27.
And where do they live?
Here in Chelmsford.
In Chelmsford. Okay.
Yeah,
So you see them occasionally?
yeah. I have a grandson. My oldest daughter had a boy later in life, and he'll be 15 in August.
Okay. And are they here?
They're
too?
in Windsor.
In Windsor.
Yeah,
And then the first grandchild you talked about, the granddaughter.
yeah.
Yeah. How old is she?
She'll be 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a baby anymore.
Oh no, I have no babies. No,
Okay.
no, they don't have any children. So
Yeah. Yet.
yet.
Okay, Roger. I don't know that I missed. I think I went through the list of things I wanted to ask you about. Is there anything you want to share, or anything that comes to mind that maybe I didn't hit on?
No, I'm pretty happy with the life I had. A lot of fun, a lot of hard work in the army.
Yeah.
Learned more discipline that I went in with, came out with.
Yeah.
The people I met working, there's one thing. When I hired on in 1970, I worked with a lot of Eastern European people from Poland that had to immigrate,
Yeah.
Eastern Europe, and I got a chance to talk to them. I learned a lot about what happened during the war.
Sure. Yeah.
They
would have
lived
been
through
impacted, eh? If you were from
Yeah.
Poland or Ukraine,
Yeah,
or
Poland, Ukraine,
even the Germans, I
went through a
suppose.
lot. And
Yeah.
some Germans. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
met a
Uh,
lot of good people.
So those folks that you, how would you compare your time in the military and the comradeship in comparison to when you were with INCO?
Well, I made some good friends at INCO, and I lost most of them now because I started at my age. I was maybe 10 to 20 years younger than a lot of the people I worked with.
Okay.
So we lost them sooner than
Yeah.
I met. Had a really good buddy named Pat Kelly. He was a Second World War veteran.
Yep.
And he was mad because he had eyesight problems, and he made it over to England when he was 20, and that's as far as the war ended.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was kind of mad that he didn't get to,
Yeah.
although he could not have made it if he
Yeah.
had gone there, you never know.
Yeah. He wanted to do his part.
But one story, when I was in the quartermasters handing in my kit after I hired on with Inco,
Yeah.
I went back to Montreal to get my stuff at my parents'. There was 2 fellas there handing in their stuff, and I didn't know them. They were from another company, but with the Royal Montreal Regiment. They could have been in D Company or. And I said, what are you guys doing handing in all your kit? We're going to Vietnam.
Oh.
I said, wow. I was an arm length away from saying, hey, maybe I should go. Because I was in my last year of high school. I was 19.
Yeah. There wasn't quite a number of Canadians
A lot of Canadians
participated
served
in
there.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. And quartermaster, just for the crowd, I wanted to explain.
Oh, yes.
The quartermaster is where you would bring all of your kit, either to be issued the socks or the beans or the bullets.
Yeah.
And then when you had to turn everything in, you went to a spot called, where they hung out was the quartermaster. And
Yeah,
quartermaster.
if you needed something, you had to go through them.
Yeah. So they were the accountants, so to speak.
Yeah,
Logistics
so
and
for sure,
accountants. Yeah.
And they'd recycle the uniforms. Any uniforms you got, try this on, and if it works.
Yeah. A lot of times somebody else had already wore it.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, my our dress. We had dress blues for formal occasions.
Okay.
And I remember one of my buddies was with me. He was smaller than I was. He was about 5'6", and I chose the pants. They looked like they'd fit pretty good. And the quartermaster said, "Okay, well, put those to the side, and we'll go look for a jacket for you." Well, my buddy I forget his name. Mario was his name. He went and switched the bigger pants he had, and he took mine. So when I got my stuff home and I had to go to the dry cleaners, I said, these pants used to fit me when I tried them at the quartermasters, but they're kind of big now, so they had to alter them for me. And he told me one day, he says, I shouldn't tell you this, but I switched pants with you.
Maybe they probably wouldn't fit him though.
They fit him, they were small enough for him, maybe he had to get them altered, not as bad as mine. Mine were, I think, size 40, and I was a 32 then.
Yeah, that's an adjustment. Okay, Roger. Well, I appreciate your time today. And
Mike, it was
a pleasure to meet you.
Talking to you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was great.
So
Great to go back and reminisce.
Yeah, no doubt.